Welcome, Tokchom. I'm the CTO of Akasia Cloud. Thank you for visiting our virtual booth at the VMware VMUG conference today. Today, I'm going to talk about how to save cost when migrating to VMware in Amazon, and also share some best practices for planning the transition to VMware on Amazon. A little bit about Akasia first. We were founded in 2014. Our headquarters is in Santa Clara, and we have an extended engineering team in Pune in India as well. And we are funded by venture funds, and including Thai Launchpad as well. About what we are in the business of helping enterprises plan for the cloud. So what that means is that we help enterprises and systems integrators determine what is on-prem current today. And if you were to migrate or transition all of these systems over to the cloud, what are the equivalent and the right size cloud resources that would be required to replace what you have on-prem today? And then we also help you organize this into manageable move groups, and we provide you the cost associated of having moved these systems to Amazon native, Azure, Google, IBM Cloud, Oracle, and also VMware Cloud on Amazon as well. Now, a couple of things. We've been doing this for the last 2-3 years. And over the last 2-3 years, we've done modeling for about 250,000 systems across the board. And what we see overwhelmingly is that every enterprise is actually looking to transition to the cloud. That's the first one. Second, 95% of our customers are looking at transitioning their VMware infrastructure to the cloud as well. So VMware on Amazon is an amazing and option as well for customers. And I'm going to go through a few points about why VMware on Amazon is a great option as well. And by the way, we do all of these activities of discovery, planning, and mapping in over 30 minutes to a few hours, depending upon the size of your environment. Our offerings, we have two offerings. One is our Akasia Infrastructure Modeler, also known as AIM, and the other one is Akasia Cloud Modeler, which is called ACM. AIM is the technology that we use for helping enterprises transition what is current on-prem to the cloud. ACM, on the other hand, is if you're starting a brand new initiative, a brand new project in the cloud, and you're looking for what are the resources available to do what you want to do in the cloud, then this would be the product. This product will help you figure out what is needed on the cloud to do your new initiative, and it will give you that information across multiple clouds and also give you a cost comparison as well. The third element is our professional services. This is designed to help our customers in the act of planning transition and also use of our technology. Again, what AIM does is an ideal tool for pre-migration planning tool for solution architects and IT administrators. AIM does discovery. We get deep insight into infrastructure. We discover your assets, and more importantly, your utilization. It is very important to understand your utilization for a couple of things. Number one, for making sure that you're right-sizing your instances in the cloud. Number two, you also want to have a handle on how much is the network activity and IO activity, because those are two other elements that cloud companies will charge you for. Having discovered, the next thing we do is mapping of what you have and what you're planning to transition to a product on the cloud and across multiple clouds. So this provides you a rapid cloud bill of materials as well as the cost associated with it. And as is mapping and right size mapping. And I can't emphasize more why right size mapping is very, very important, especially in a VMware environment. In the VMware environment, we all have the luxury of over-provisioning our systems, and VMware takes care of itself to make sure that it gets the right resources, everybody gets the right resources. Now, if you were to take that same VM, which you kind of over-provision, and take a same size virtual machine in the cloud, more than likely you have a system which is way larger than what you need, and you're paying a lot more. So right sizing is a very important aspect of planning transition to the cloud, and that's one of the elements that we in Akasia provide for you. And then, of course, you compare it across the different clouds. These are some of our customers and partners. They include IBM, Wipro, Cognizant, Conres. These are some of our integration partners. They use our technology to help their own customers transition to the cloud. The second set is some of our end customers, which includes Space Farm, Chevron, Acadian, and so on and so forth. We also have technology partnership with all the major clouds. These are the 6 major clouds that we partner with. So if you're looking for transitioning to any one of these clouds, you can use our technology to help you plan for it. How AIM works, it's actually a 3-step process. First and foremost, we do discovery. It's done offline. We give you a small piece of software, you download it, and it runs it. And within 30 minutes or so, it extracts all of the information in your environment, and it's presented to as a CSV files. Next step, you upload the CSV files into a SaaS platform, and that's when the number crunching and matchmaking happens. And then we do right sizing, what if analysis, and model the virtual machines for you that would be moved to the cloud. And the third element is actually having done all of the analysis and mapping, we give you the results of having migrated those systems to all of the different clouds that's listed here. Architecturally, again, this is very similar to what I just said, on-prem discovery, and then you come into our SaaS platform and we map each and every single machine that you have to a virtual machine equivalent instance in each of those clouds that we've listed here, and you can see that and you can compare that across the board. And one of the things is this, by the way, when you see these logos of all the different clouds, we have automated tools and technology that actually goes and collects the product catalog and the price catalog across multiple regions for each one of these clouds. So we maintain the latest and greatest price list from each one of these clouds, and we refresh our data almost every 24 hours. And that's how we keep current, and so your mapping will always be current with the latest in prices. A quick case study. So this is an example of one of our customers, and they were looking at native EC2 versus VMC for a 3-year instance. And you can see that for 1,443 machines, these are some of the numbers, and you're welcome to download our PDF at some point of time and look at this in detail. But what you see here is a significant cost savings when you're looking at VMware and Amazon. Now, a word of caution there. VMware and Amazon makes sense when you have a fairly large environment. For small environments, it may not make a lot of sense. Now, let's talk a little bit about migration from existing infrastructure to AWS or VMware on Amazon. One of the things that you do have to go through in any transition is discovery, planning, migration, and operations. And these are the factors you have to consider as you move across from on-prem to the cloud. Now, in the first element, when you're doing discovery is discovery. It doesn't matter which target you want to go. It's going to be the same. It could be complex. It could be simple based on whatever your environment is like. Now comes the planning part, where you start looking at okay, having discovered that I've got 3,000 systems, I want to be organizing this into manageable groups, and then find out the target element on the cloud. Now, managing move groups is a complex process. We in Akasia help you manage that very easily. But the act of mapping each one system into an equivalent in the cloud is a very complex process for Amazon. However, for VMware, it's yet another VMware. The cloud happens to be just yet another ESX server, a bunch of ESX servers, and you just vMotion your systems over to the other side. So you don't have to worry about mapping it to an existing AMI or instance and so on of that nature. Migration, again, the next follow-up step is migration. In the act of migrating your systems to native Amazon, if you're doing that, you have to convert your VMs into an AMI, or you have to refactor it. You can't just take your existing VMware VM and drop it in Amazon and it would work. Now, this could require third-party tools. It's very labor-intensive and it's prone to error as well. On the other hand, if you're migrating to VMware on Amazon is just a matter of there's no reformatting, there's no change in structure of the system. It's just a vMotion across the wire to your VMware on Amazon instance. Post-migration, this is yet another factor that most customers don't pay a lot of attention to, but I want to bring your attention here as well. Post-migration, if you're running on native Amazon, is a complete different paradigm. You have to be constant, you have to have different tools, different skills, and you have to be managing constantly whether, hey, should I turn this virtual machine on or off based on, the time of the day and so on and so forth. In the case of VMC, none of those things apply. It is standard VMware infrastructure. You use a VMware management tools, and if a VM is not active during certain hours of the day, it doesn't matter. You're not paying by the VM, you're paying by the host that you're taking. So as a result, you don't have to worry about the micromanagement of every single virtual machine that you have to do in case you're running a native Amazon. So that's yet another very important cost as complexity equation that you have to keep attention to as well. Now, the cost of migration, based on the fact that you're going to require mapping first, and then you're going to do reformatting and conversion, typically, the cost for moving a virtual machine and from on-prem to Amazon native is about anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 per virtual machine. However, if you're talking about migrating to VMC, you have a one-time cost of $180 for the vMotion services. And per hour you pay, if you take a virtual machine takes 2 hours, and you would pay extra for 2 hours. And then as far as skill set and new tools are concerned, you don't really need anything new. So the cost of migration can be significantly lower as well. Operations, we mentioned that already. So just a quick chart to give you a sense of how much it takes on an average when you're migrating in native AWS, very, very conservatively, we would say about, generously rather, 5.27 hours, where in VMC it could be about an hour or less. Right, so now the other thing is that we did a comparison of these 1443 machines in Amazon native versus VMware, and this is an output of our own technology, and screenshots been captured and presented here. And you notice that currently the one-time migration is a very high number, and we've already discussed that a few minutes ago. And then the reserve instance 3-year versus reserve instance on right-sized in VMC, VMware on Amazon, is significantly lower, and that's because as the size of your infrastructure increases, you really start getting the benefits of packing a lot more systems into the VMware service running on Amazon. So again, this is a couple of slides I have. These are screenshots of a product for people who are downloading a PDF at a later time. I'm going to quickly skip through this and really focus on actually the demo at this time. So transitioning over to demo. All right, so our demo. So what I have done is basically go to our SaaS platform, is SaaS.akasia.com, and I have an account there, and I log in, and the first thing you see here are the 2 products that we have available for you. And today our demo is going to be about Akasia Infrastructure Modeler and really focus on VMware on Amazon. So with that, I click here, and this is the first screen, and you will see this is the managed source database data. This is where I would actually look at all of the different environments, data center for which I am going to be doing some mapping for you, planning. And the way you do it is that first and foremost, if you're a first-time user, you're going to download our remote collector. This is a small Java application, about 25 megabytes. You would run it in infrastructure, and at the end of about 20-30 minutes, based on your size of your environment, it is going to generate a few CSV files. And those CSV files would be for host information, VM information history, and data store. And you would basically pick those files here and upload it. You give a name. And once you give a name, it's going to show up something like this here. Now, in case you have, you prefer to use other technologies for discovery, you can use RV tools as well. However, RV tools does not provide the yearly history, so you will not be able to do right sizing. You will just be able to do as-is mapping. In case of non-VMware data set, you can also do the same thing, very similar. So if this is Hyper-V or other technology, VM technologies, you could use this. And you can also even do modeling for if you were to transition physical servers into cloud instance, this is what you would do as well. So now, for the purpose of the demo, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to not upload anything at this time. I'm going to take one of my existing infrastructure, and I'm going to click here the view details, and that will take me to my next, the login screen. Next dashboard. So I just picked one of my sources, which is my Santa Clara data center, and it has, as you can see, 108 hosts. This is the total physical storage capacity. This is the total memory available in my infrastructure, total number of CPUs, total number of cores. So this is what the details of my summary of my infrastructure, host infrastructure. And these are my virtual machines. I have 1675 virtual machines, 1443 powered on, and so many powered off. And this, by the way, is a very important aspect, which is network usage and I/O. And these are some of the things that most people don't pay attention to, and this can have you charges in the cloud that might surprise you. Now, this chart gives you a current on-prem infrastructure of cost of running this infrastructure currently. And this is based on the configuration of your hardware and compared to equivalent systems from Dell, Lenovo, Cisco, and HP. And we encourage you have the ability to revise these numbers with your exact numbers, and we encourage you to do so if you were to use a technology. This chart on this side here gives you a quick view of if you were to run all of these powered on systems in these clouds. This is a quick view of how much it will cost you, right? So we're going to actually start really moving into the actual modeling right now. So next, I'm going to move clicking into the modeling step. And this is currently picking up all the virtual machines that I have currently on my environment in that particular data center. So here we go. I can, by the way, pick my systems based on by the host, by virtual machines, by operating systems, and by group. So by group means that I would have created manageable move groups, which I've done in the past, and you can see some of this is how you would do it. But for the purpose of the demo, I'm just going to pick by virtual machines here, and I'm going to pick all of the powered on. I can do filtering, so I can do all the powered on machines here, and I will just select everything with the exception of these two guys who are not powered on, and add to modeling group. And here, this is my just having, yes, I know I have 143. This is what I want to do. I'm going to go click on cloud estimates, and this is going to go now for every single 1443 virtual machines. Is going to look at two things. One is an equivalent for each one of those systems in every cloud as is, and an equivalent of each system across every cloud right size. So it's extensive calculations that's going to happen right now. So what we did was we basically picked 1443 machines for mapping, and you can see that we picked 7,000 plus vCPUs, so many cycles, so much storage, and current on-prem cost is so much. And as you can see that these are the different costs across different clouds, different options, and you can have a quick view of the cost comparison as well. So this is, if you look at compute, this is what you would see. And if you were to look at as it is, now what you saw earlier chart was as right size, but once you did, if you were to do it as is, then this would be the numbers that you can expect. And then below here is a summary for every single cloud of interest. So today we're going to pick VMware. Here we have VMware 3-year reserve instance, and this is what we're going to talk about. And once you click here, the next phase that it gives you is actionable information. In other words, this is again a summary. There are 1443 machines. This is the number of CPUs that is currently that you're considering moving to the cloud, and what is the equivalent for that in the cloud as well. So now what you are looking at here is that to pack all of those 1443, how many systems are you going to need? So you're going to need, if you were to do it as is, you're going to need about 64 ESX servers in VMware on Amazon. And if you were to right size it, you can get away with 52. So these are the key numbers that you want. And the way you would pack is each cluster comes with 16 maximum. And in the first cluster, you will have 492 machines that you can pack in the first cluster. And in the second one, you can do 425 and so on and so forth. And if you were to look at VMware configuration, you will see which VMs should go into which cluster as well. You will see that as well. Right. So, and then once that is done, then next would be additional services that you may be interested. So beyond the CPUs and memory, you may be interested in looking at, okay, since you're in Amazon, you may want to buy some elastic, block storage or S3 products or IP addresses. So I'm going to add a few public IP addresses. We're going to add some EBS storage for other instances that I'm interested in. And then, hey, I may need some load balancers, so let me add some load balancers as well. So you basically, based on what your requirements is, you're going to start adding an additional, let's say I want to add S3 as well, as well. So all of those elements that you added, they show up here. You can adjust the quantity here. And say 10, and EBS, let's say, you want 1,000, 100, and the load balancers, you want, let's say 5, and you can add this as you go along. And then add other costs. This is now important when you're considering migrations as well, because if you're looking at the holistic picture, you're not only looking at what is going to be the cost of running this in services on cloud, but what would be my cost of transition as well. So this is when you enter the numbers. Now, if you were to move to a native AWS, you're talking about $1,500 to $2,000 per machine. In the case of VMware on Amazon, you're talking about maybe in the $180 that you would have to pay for vMotion services, plus some additional cost of network or manpower. So you may say, let's say, okay, $250 per machine, and you multiply it by, let's say, 1,000. So there you go, 25,000 or whatever, and so on, or so. And then you may need a direct connect, in which case, let's say you direct connect, you need 2 circuits, let's say $2,000 for that. And then administrators, now it could be the same team managing. It just happens that the servers are moved from one place to another, but using the same technology, same set of people, so you may not incur additional cost of management beyond what you already have. So now comes the final report at this time, and it's just going to generate you the entire list, actionable information of which virtual machine to go to, which cluster, and that kind of information. Okay, so here's the final chart. You have one-time migration cost of $2,500. This is right-sized, and this is as is on the cloud for 3 years, and you will see 1 year versus on demand as well. And by the way, VMware does give you a discount anywhere from 10% to 25% based on the infrastructure that you currently have on-prem, and as long as you have support agreements in place, you do get those discounts as well. So if you were to apply this, let's say if 10% apply, you will see those numbers change as well. And here's the summary of that, again, shown for the 3 different options. And then here is the list of every single virtual machine. This is the name of the virtual machine. This is the ID. This goes into cluster 1, right? And then you will see that actionable information that you will have. And at the end, you will also see the summary of all of the as is 64. There will be 4 clusters and 64 virtual ESX servers you could require. This is the number of cores you would need. This is the number of cycles. And if it's right size, this is what you would need. And this is with the monthly cost as well. And these are the additional services. And this is a long list of services that you could add on, which is available on Amazon or also provided by VMware as well, such as site recovery. And then this will be a monthly other cost. And this is a one-time migration cost as well. And this is the final summary at this point. And then now you can go and export this into an Excel spreadsheet or a PDF file, or you can save this to a project, a plan, this project, and come back to it on a later date. So this kind of concludes my demonstration of our software at this time. So what I have done in my demo is show you discover and collect on-prem data, select candidates for modeling, model and map to cloud resources across multiple clouds, compare the costs across different clouds, add additional services, and generate the final bill of material and report. That's what my demo was. And at this point, my presentation is complete. And it is, again, to conclude, our technology is an ideal technology for helping you plan for cloud migration or DR, and you will get to see all of the cost elements. There'll be no surprises, no IOPS, network storage, and other costs that might surprise you. Your cost calculation takes a few minutes, which normally, if you were to do manually, if at all it was possible, would take you weeks and weeks. And we do keep current with the daily changes in cloud cost. If you have any other information that you would like, please call us at this number or email us, and then you can also sign up for a trial with at this link as well. Thank you very much. Have a great day.